Hey.
Yeah, I'm in finals week right now, so I'm getting that done.
Damn. Well, props for you for doing that, and also thank you for taking the time out
Yeah,
of
man, of course.
finals week to do this.
For
Um,
sure.
I'll try not to ask too many finals questions. I'll save those for the test. For you, don't worry about it.
Perfect.
So to start the episode, I usually crack a beer. I don't know if you have anything that you want to crack. It doesn't have to be alcohol if you don't.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Kid's always got a beer to crack.
I always got a beer to crack.
Hell yeah.
Parker, do you want a seltzer water?
Sure.
Okay.
Nice. Do a little Bhammered reference.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, nice Bhammered reference.
Okay.
All right. So everyone's ready in
Washington.
three, two, 1.
1.
Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This week, I found another Seattle band to hang out with for the day. I'm sitting down with Cade and Parker from Dusty Cubby. How y'all doing?
Hey, what's up, man?
Doing very well. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for being on, taking the time out of your Saturday. I know, Cade, you mentioned you got finals going on. So we'll just have a kind of fun, relaxing time to get away from all that, I feel like.
Sure. Sounds good to me.
All right, hell yeah. Like I mentioned, y'all are Dusty Cubby from Seattle. People aren't aware, Dusty Cubby is, and correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, it's just from what I've gathered, like an indie rock mixed with kind of like some punk rock, a little bit of Midwest emo mixed in there. I think it kind of really depends too on like what era of Dusty Cubby you're listening to, but the newer stuff is a lot more angstier and what got me hooked to send the emails. So
Thank you very much. I would say that sounds about right.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the stuff that we've been working on is very adding in on the punk meets the Midwest emo still.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely with our last single, I was like, I want to go for like a drug church kind of vibe, like something a little bit aggressive. So I'm really glad that that was brought across. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Of course. Speaking of singles, obviously I did check out kind of everything that Dusty Cubby has out, just to kind of get a full feel for the evolution of everything that's been going on. Definitely starting with I believe it was Town Story, and then Listen to Fair Enough, which came out in 2019 and 2020 respectively.
Mm-hmm.
Then you kind of had a couple EPs in 2021, but in 2022 you released 2 singles, and then we released one not that long ago. But kind of want to start at the beginning. In May of last year, it was Bhammered that came out, which, I mean, that was the first thing you had released in a year, and it's such a fun track to listen to and just vibe. Music video is great. Cade, watching you just get like, I mean, obviously it's like, all about heartbreak and getting drug out of a bar because your friends are there to like pick you up and be there for you. But I mean, it's such a great song to start off with. And then in August released Clementine, which kind of took a little bit different vibe sound wise, I would say, but still still a solid track. And then leading up to the latest single, which, like I said, is the reason I sent the email. I found it on a curated new music playlist called Yukon Suckerpunch, and it comes out so hard, so swinging. But like, my long-winded way of getting to this question, I don't know why I started that long rant, but like, what's it been like in the last year, just releasing these singles so far apart, but like the responses on all of them?
It's kind of funny the way we released it, because we recorded them all in like the same session. Like, I was house sitting for a buddy of mine who was overseas for like 3 weeks in like October of 2021. And so we had our previous drummer, Cade, come over with like his drum kit, and we just like knocked it all out that whole time he was gone. And originally the intention was just like release it all in one go. But after we got everything like mixed and mastered, we decided we would do what do you call it, like a waterfall release?
Yeah.
Where you do one and then another one with the song before, and so on and so forth. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, like when we tackle writing songs and stuff, we always try to give variety and try to make things sound different. So it's interesting to the listener. So I don't know. Yeah, as far as reception goes, I feel like Bhammered went off really well.
For sure.
People really like that. Clementine, I would say people weren't so stoked on because
I
it's
think
slower
people
too.
like that song. It just doesn't fit the same with everything else that we've done.
Yeah.
So it's very a jarring difference to everything else, and everyone's like, "Man, I don't know what to do now."
Right.
Yeah, people seem to like it, but it's definitely not like their favorite Dusty Cubby song.
For sure.
As it should be no one's favorite Dusty Cubby song.
Yeah. But when Yukon came out, I feel like that was like it's like the bow on the present, or like the icing on the cake. Like I feel like it finally came full circle, and like once people heard it was like, oh, like these songs packaged together, I think it brings a really strong representation of what we're going for. And I mean, I don't know about you, but like I get a lot of people telling me that like Yukon's our best song, or like, you know, Yukon and Bhammered are like the best two songs
Everyone
we have out.
loves those two songs.
Yeah, people go nuts.
Which is great, because maybe that means that one day Croissant will no longer be our number one stream song
true.
on Spotify.
Yeah, one of these days.
Maybe one day I don't have to play Croissant.
No, I really liked, because I definitely see what you're saying, where Clementine's not people's favorites, especially when you compare the three. It is still a solid track, and stands up on its own. It was nice listening to them in the order that like Spotify has them. So it, you know, it goes Yukon, Clementine, and then Bhammered, because it kind of just like peppers in that little bit of difference before you kind of get back into like another like heavier, like faster, like punk style song.
Sure.
But I think all three are super sick. And there was like one point I wrote down here, Parker, that in Yukon, when right before it gets to your vocals, and it has that like little bass solo, and it's just so sludgy, just enough for that song. Like it hits so well. Like Yukon slaps. For anyone that hasn't listened to it, what are you doing? Please go listen to it by the time we're done here. But obviously I have to ask, like, what's coming next? I know it's a waterfall of these three singles, but like, what's on the horizon?
A lot.
Yeah, we have quite a bit. So as I mentioned before, like our previous drummer, Cade, came over, which for anyone who doesn't know, Cade has left the band. No qualms with him or
he just
us.
wants to get an education or something.
Yeah. Something about going to school. I've never heard of it.
What a loser.
But with that being, so yeah, we're just gonna make that public, and I feel like, you know, we will have announced our new drummer by the time this comes out, because you said this is coming out in April, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, our new drummer is this guy named Jarrett Lavar. He, as far as for reference, he was in a band called King Lincoln from Everett a few years back, and he's kind of taken a pause on playing music publicly, but he's back now with us, and we're working on putting out some songs this summer that kind of have a different direction compared to you know, Bhammered, Yukon, and Clementine, I would say.
Yeah, I would say it's fair enough adjacent.
Yeah.
Maybe even like Blastro adjacent.
Yeah. And then once that's out, we plan on hitting the road again.
Hell yeah. Now with that change in like sound and kind of going back to like the other sound, is that more just because of does that come at all from like switching up drummers and then just getting that unique, like that different sound, or is it more just that's the road that y'all are wanting to go down and revisit again?
I wouldn't even say it's like a conscious choice. I would say it's just happened organically.
Yeah.
Like just fucking around in the practice room and playing some stuff, and we're just automatically just going toward a certain direction without even like thinking about it consciously.
For sure. I will say I've really dove into a lot more open tunings this last year, so that's definitely helped that direction.
What can you expect from Dusty Cubby? More open tunings.
Yeah. And a capo that I will not be losing.
Well, yeah. Kind of getting back into Yukon for sure.
Yeah.
It has like this great music video along with it. Because obviously you recorded it at like a house party, and basically the music video is putting up flyers at the beginning, getting ready for this house party. But we also follow this amazing character that you've established in a hot dog suit, just on his way to finally get to the party. So props. I mean, I know you mentioned it in like I think the description, or I read it somewhere, but like mad props to that person for wearing that hot dog suit all day.
Yeah.
To do that, because I mean, I don't know if I would want to do that all day, but
Yeah.
it's such a fun element to add to it.
I don't know how he did it.
Yeah, Colin was such a trooper because it was like kind of hot that day too, and like halfway through he was like, "I need a break."
Like, take however many breaks
Yeah,
you need,
and you
man.
know what? But he never took off the suit. That was the crazy.
Literally,
He kept it on the whole time.
as soon as it was on, he's like, "This is part of me now."
Yeah. He's like, "This is my outfit."
He
for
didn't
today."
take it off until like 10 p.m.
Yeah. We started shooting at like 10 a.m. that day.
Yeah.
Wow. I did really like the end scene where he's like eating the hot dog as well. A little little blasphemous hot dog eating a hot dog, but
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Shout out to the Victory Lounge, RIP.
Yeah, RIP the Victory Lounge, old stomping grounds for sure. Yeah. That's it's one of our. It was the Victory Lounge was one of our favorite venues to play at, and they closed down
They closed at the end of the year.
So yeah, it was a nice little. It was really nice of them to let us film there, and it was just a really nice way for us to kind of immortalize that place because it meant a lot to us.
Yeah. What do you think that was? I don't know if this is like. I mean, obviously this is a tangent, but do you think any of that had to do with like just pandemic related stuff? I know a lot of people lost their favorite venues and their communities because of all that.
Are you asking if losing the venue was pandemic related?
Yeah, I know, like you said, it was at the end of last year, but I don't know if it was like any residual effect from that. I don't know. I know that's hard to say, like ask for.
If I'm being honest, I think it has to, in part, maybe you can help me out with this. I think it has to do with just like the increasing rent price in Seattle.
Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with the pandemic because
it might have some to do with it because
Yeah.
I think people were really slow to start going to shows again for good reason.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that they made that much money from shows, but it was still like a nice way for people to know that they existed outside of show times. So
and aside from the Vic, like we just lost like the Kraken, which is another good local venue where
one I think was rent prices.
Yeah, and we just lost Bar House too out in Fremont, and so venues are going down, but other venues are popping up as well. So
okay,
nice little thing, I guess.
With your scene out there as well, is there like a decent like house show scene at all, or is it mainly just a lot more venues?
I think house shows are coming back. There were quite a few at one point, but then pandemic related things. No one wants a bunch of strangers in their houses.
Yeah.
But I think it's slowly coming back for sure.
Yeah.
We've played a few new house venues recently that were really good, and I think that they will be great house venues for the future as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's something you always want to hear. I know, like, so I'm originally from like the Iowa City scene. We had like a bunch of house venues, and I think there's just a few that are still around. I mean, between like people moving and the pandemic, like there's a couple still around, but it's always nice to see at least that style of options open for those times that like venues just don't work or can't get one to book the show at.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Pre-pandemic house shows walked, so post-pandemic house shows could run.
Yeah, there you go.
For sure.
I know earlier you mentioned hopefully hitting the road in like kind of summer-ish. But I did want to bring up a tweet that you tweeted, I think just the other day.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What did it say?
Cade really just goes off on Twitter sometimes.
Yeah. I don't really have a
I'm totally here for it. It was I want to do a tour where we don't even play. I just show up and we hang out and drink beers.
Yeah, that was last night.
That's like the most Cade Miller tweet that has ever been written as well.
I mean, I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
If you were to book this straight like just hang out, chill, drink beers tour, Like, where would be some spots that you would want to hit? Like, would you still be doing these all at venues, or would you like just backyards? How like, what's your idea here?
I mean, I'd book it like I'd book a tour. So I'd
Find the best brew houses that you can find.
no, I think I'd keep it. I think I'd keep it like aesthetically the same of like the places we play, because like the tours we've done in the past, like we play some venues, but we're also no strangers to playing like houses or like record stores or like, I don't know, cafes or bookshops, you know, wherever. So I would try to book it like that, if they're willing to let us hang out and get rowdy and drink beers there.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a great concept, and like I'm sure people would be like, imagine like, you know, because a lot of people play coffee shops and just being like, hey, we're a band, but instead of just like getting crazy and like making a lot of noise, we're just gonna like hang out in the corner, and like our friends are gonna show up, and we're just gonna drink some beers or whatever you are serving at this particular venue. And
That's
just have a
right.
good time.
And you know what? It's great for business for the hosts. And you know what? They won't even have to pay us like a full show price. They pay us like 10% of what they made that night.
Right. It's a win-win situation.
It is, exactly. But you know, one day I'm not gonna make that happen too
The
soon.
Dusty Cubby VIP experience.
Right, exactly.
You know, the home team's got Topo Chico and we have
Rainier. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing with like Dusty Cubby, Yukon, Clementine, or Bhammered that y'all want to talk about that I might not have just jotted down or try to already bring up.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, we can talk about shooting the music videos or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk just more about the songs themselves.
Yeah, we're happy to do that too.
Ask whatever.
Yeah, dude, ask whatever you want.
Okay.
I could tell you, I mean, if you want, like I can like give you like kind of a description of like what I was going for each of the last 3 singles, and then like talk about the music videos and stuff.
Yeah, let's go down that road.
Okay, for sure. So Be Hammered I wrote when I was living in Bellingham. It's just like a town about an hour north of Everett, close to the Canadian border.
So 2 hours north of Seattle.
2 hours north of Seattle.
No one knows where Everett is, Cage.
But yeah, I was going to Western Washington University there, and I only did like a semester. And I passed the semester, but like I didn't really like make any friends up there. I was just like drinking a lot in my apartment and just like playing my roommates' video games and like kind of just like being a I guess like being like a just being a bad roommate. And so that's kind of what that song's about. And thankfully I had, you know, my girlfriend out there. She was living with her dad, who lived like 30 minutes north of there. And so we would just hang out whenever we could. And so I would come back and drive down to Seattle like once a month or something and practice. But then I moved back down here. I moved back home. And then we started working on the songs more, and then finally got it recorded. And then when the music video time came, we lost our previous bass player, Danny. That's why Parker's on in that video, is because it was like his last request to be in that video with us. And that was actually shot in Bellingham. And we shot it at this bar called the High Water Bar on Hyde Street in Bellingham, which is like really, really close to the water. And then around the corner was that skate park, which was like underneath like an intersection, like an overpass.
Mm.
And there was like a dirt bike lot. And so we drove like over like this like bed of rocks, like a half a mile, and like drove over this curb to get to the skate park. It was a pretty gnarly setup. Nicholas Wiggins shot that one. He's a really good.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's amazing at what he does.
Good guy.
Yeah. And yeah. Am I missing anything about Be Hammered at all? Be Hammered lore? The cover for that single was shot on like one of those like those Kodak digital film cameras at my buddy Evan's house, who I was house sitting for at the time when we recorded it. Shout out Evan. And yeah, just a stack of beers.
Oh yeah. Now, Parker, like I obviously, like we mentioned, I was gonna bring this up too, is it's nearing your 1 year mark, I think it said.
I
being Dusty Cubby.
You passed the 1 year mark.
Yeah, the other day was 1 year since my first Dusty Cubby show. It was Danny's last show, and then like 2 days later we were like, hey, Parker's in the band now. And then 2 days later we had my first show. So I had like no time in between. The whiplash from Danny to Parker was wild.
Very
And
instant.
shout out Danny. That guy is one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And he did a lot for Dusty Cubby.
He really did. Yeah.
So
he taught Cade and I how to tour.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to like on the night of his last show, he like I was like, hey man, I just want to like let you know, like I'm heading out, but I love you so much. He's like, please take care of these boys for me.
Yeah.
Because he's old man.
He's 32. He's not old yet.
He's old enough. But he was like, you're the oldest one now, so like you have to take care of these guys. I'm like, I will do my best. And they did not get hurt or seriously injured on tour. So
yeah,
I think I did my job.
Yeah. And Parker's kind of the perfect replacement for Danny, because aside from his bass playing skills, he's the oldest of the band. He's also the shortest of the bands, and he's always wearing a hat. So.
Always. Yeah. I filled Danny's shoes pretty well.
Yeah, pretty well.
Hell yeah. Do you remember like your initial thoughts of like joining and like getting that offer?
Yeah, it was wild. I was going through a really tough time. My grandma was really sick and I was just having a really hard time. And they were just like, hey, like we've been friends since I've known these guys literally since the first Dusty Cubby show.
Yeah, we played our first show. We played Parker played Dusty Cubby's first show.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have like an acoustic side project that I don't do anything with. But at the time I did kind of do things with it. So like I opened and also Dusty Cubby opened for that show, and it was Dusty Cubby's first show. And so like I've known these guys since 2018. And they hit me up and they're just like, hey, Danny's leaving. Do you want to try out to be in Dusty Cubby? And I was like, yeah, I do, because we're great friends. I really loved your stuff. Like, absolutely, I'd love to be a part of it. So it was really nice to have that, like going through the hard times and being able to have a musical outlet again, because it had been a while since I had been doing any music. So it was really helpful for me, and also a nice chance for me to get closer with my friends.
Yeah. Although Parker is straight edge, he went through a little Bhammered music video of his own.
Yeah.
Joining this band.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, it was awesome. It's like, yeah, absolutely. Please let me come and join you and play some kick-ass songs. So it was definitely weird kind of going in from being like a friend / also like a fan of the work, for lack of a better term, to then like playing these songs and being like, oh, these are like my band's songs now. So that was a weird little shift, but I think it's worked out really well.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And then kind of jumping back over to Clementine, like what was like the mind space that you were in when you were doing that one?
Yeah, for sure. So Bhammered was kind of like this like 3/4 feel song with like, pretty aggressive lyrics and like kind of a straightforward message behind it. And with the next song, I wanted to do something that was pretty different and kind of showed a contrast to what there was before. It's really shoegazy. And I was really into the movie Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind at the time. So that's what that song is kind of loosely about.
The movie's fucked up.
I just started watching that like the other day, and I made it like 30 minutes in, and I couldn't focus enough. So like it's one that I'm gonna have to like try and jump back into, because it's like the top movie for like a lot of people.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
It's a romance movie, but like no one knows that it's secretly a sci-fi movie. No one knows that.
Right.
I didn't even like watch that movie until I had already been in the band for months.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, sure, maybe. And then I just kept putting it off. And then I finally watched it. I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah. And you know what? That roommate who I was living with at the time in Bellingham, he's the one who got me into that movie. He said that was his favorite movie. And so I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And so after I moved out, I checked it out. I was like, oh, let's go. I can write something about this. And so I figured like the topic of the song like would kind of match the music. And so I just kind of tried to go off that. And also, I feel like it was a really good challenge for us because a lot of our songs are like really loud and kind of fast, and kind of short. And with that song, I wanted to do like basically the opposite with like a lot more dynamics and a slower tempo and just kind of, see what happens overall. And I think I felt like we pulled it off. I still feel like we kind of did, but ever since I saw the reception that we got, I was like, we could have done this better.
It's a good song. It's just not the best Dusty Cubby song.
Yeah, that's true. For the music video, we shot that also once again at Evan's house. Evan's really just been a big
Evan's
player
the
for
fourth member of
He's really been
Dusty
a big
Cubby.
player for this band. Yeah, we shot that in like his VR room because he has like a VR video game room.
Okay.
And we had this guy named Will who was living in Tacoma, I think.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was living in Tacoma.
And
He did a great job with that too.
he did a great
It was
job.
gorgeous.
Yeah, and we were really into the Sweater Song music video. So we were just like, what if we could just rip this off with just like lights and a fog machine? And I feel like we pulled it off.
It went really well.
Yeah.
I did definitely rip that shirt while we were playing.
I didn't know that.
Like, I went to change after we were done and I took it off and I'm like, oh, there's a giant rip on like my shoulder.
Also,
and I love that shirt too.
Fun fact, none of that equipment in that video is ours.
Literally everything we borrowed from everyone else.
Yeah. We showed up with like our stuff and like I think I brought like my Jazz Master or something and you brought your bass. And Evan was like, I got this black Telecaster, and Parker, I got this black double P bass if you want to use it. We're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then we started filming, and he's like, I got this fog machine and these lights if you want to use them. We're like, all right. And then before we showed up, even he was like, Kate, use my drum set. That way you don't have to bring yours. And he was like, perfect.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out Evan.
Shout out Evan again, man.
I mean, what's better than like getting to shoot a music video but also not having to like lug all of your shit there?
That's true.
Yeah.
And then I know we kind of mentioned already the Yukon one is basically just like a fun house party for the music video followed while we follow your friend around in the hot dog costume. Like what, like kind of breaking that one down, like where were you at in your space when you came up with that one?
Yeah, sure.
I wrote that one.
Parker wrote the lyrics for that one. Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
Because I had a set of lyrics and everyone told me they were garbage. And so I was like, okay, I'll take it. And so, and yeah, like the riff.
I had like just written some lyrics that I was like, I don't know what I can do with these. And you're just like, can I borrow these?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, sure, do whatever you want with them. And so like, you're just like, cool, here it is.
Yeah, I had it like about a week after Parker had sent me like his notes app file. And so I put that together. Like I said, the riff came from like just listening to like Drug Church. I can't remember the name of that album. It's that red one.
Was it?
It's not Hygiene. It's the one before it. Cheers. Yeah. I really like that album, and so I was like, I'm gonna try to write a song that sounds like this. Let's see. Yeah, recorded at Evan's house. The Colin, who is the hot dog in that video, plays in a band with Evan called Midnight Movie. And so shouts out those guys. I am also in that band. Yeah. I
not for long.
And then just kind of shot at guerrilla style around Eastlake in Seattle with Nicholas, who shot the Bhammered video because he was such a nice guy and he did such a good job.
Got the little shot with the Pike Place right there too.
Yeah, got the Seattle seal of approval at the Pike Place Market. The only thing we were really missing was the Starbucks cup, but I mean, it's all right. We don't need to support that.
No,
yeah.
We don't support union investors in this house.
Precisely. And so that house show, that was kind of funny because that was Kate's house, and so we showed up and like leading up to it, I like made a flyer like online for like people to come to his house for this shot, and Kate was really worried about like having too many people at the house. So he was like, hey man, like if we have more than 10 people, like I'm gonna shut it down. Like, we can't have that. Like no more than 10 people, bro. And I was like, okay. But like secretly, like secretly I was like sending the address to people because I was
Absolutely.
worried 10 people wasn't going to be enough.
Also, like
And-
only allowing 10 people to have the address, not all of them would have shown up.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
True.
like 10 guarantees is really 5.
Yeah, exactly. We've all played shows. We've all promoted our shows. We know that the Facebook page is not indicative of how many people are going to
The
be
Facebook
there.
event page liar. So
I had a buddy of mine I think we were getting ready to go to a show or something, and I was like, dude, we need to like make sure we get there early because we didn't get tickets ahead of time. He's like, dude, it only says like that there's gonna be this many people at the show on Facebook. I'm like, dude, you don't trust that at all. Like you subtract it by you have it, and then you subtract like another 10 just in case, and it's probably gonna be like that amount. If it says 40, it's gonna be 12.
Yeah,
like, that's how it's gonna be.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And but yeah, that was really fun. One of my favorite parts from that day was watching Colin step in dog poop.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, Cade was
we
really
like
adamant.
scouted out the dog.
Cade was really adamant about using his dog's dog poop, and so he brought a bag of his dog's dog poop with him. We really fine-tuned that shot.
Parker, when you coming up with the lyrics, I do gotta say that there was one lyric that really stands out, and it's kind of dope. It kind of goes hard. I'm not suicidal. I just need some sleep. Don't fucking mind me. That's such a good fucking line.
You like it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it was just I'd been having a lot of days that felt a lot like I was 15. And you know, I had just like gone through moving when I was like 14, 15 from a small town to a completely different part of the state. And I was like, I don't know what's happening here. Like all the weather is different as well. It was just everything was kind of a mess. And so it was a lot of reference to that and the way that I felt when I was a teenager. And you know, sometimes we do feel like the way that we felt when we were teenagers, even when we are 25. So it's a little bit of that, and like, you know what? No, I'm fine. I'm probably just hungry. I just got to go take a nap. I'll be good, you know? And just, you know, you don't always want people to worry about you, but you do need people to worry about you. So it's kind of where all that came from.
For sure.
Well, like I've said, these 3 tracks are super amazing. Yukon just fucking slaps so hard, and I hope everyone loves it as much as you loved putting all these 3 songs together. So as we kind of transition into the later half of these episodes, first, this is obviously Beers with Bands. As I normally say, you don't have to actually be drinking any alcohol in these episodes. You can leave that up to me. But
thank God, otherwise I gotta go.
But what are the 2 of you drinking on this fine Saturday?
Okay, so I got pub beer lager from 10 Barrel Brewing Company. Shouts out our homie Swiss Army Wife. They really back this beer. It's a good beer. I like it a lot. Being in Washington, I'm a big supporter of Rainier. I usually try to mix up. If I'm not feeling Rainier, I'll go like PBR, of course, or pub beer. So that's what I got on deck right now.
All right. And I got the classic queer person has to have more than one drink at a time going right now.
Yeah, I got 3 drinks.
I literally have the classic queer person 3 drinks right now. Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So check this out.
So we got the hydro because, you know, we live in Washington. We have to have the hydro covered in stickers.
Yeah.
I went to visit our friend Elliot Green today, who works at a coffee shop. I got an oat milk rosemary orange mocha. It's very tasty.
Wait, okay.
Yeah. Oh it's God. So good.
Oh my God.
Isn't that great?
What the hell?
Yeah, it's very good. And then also for my cracking the can open, we got a Kroger brand seltzer water because apparently Cade can't afford anything that's not store brand. And it's a watermelon flavor, which I don't know how he knew, but I'm a big fan of watermelon flavored things.
Yes. I don't drink a lot of seltzer water, but it's really good to mix with vodka. So that's
True.
doing
That's
that
why.
lately.
That's why you got to go for the cheap stuff.
Exactly. 'Cause it's not the store brand that matters. It's the mixer that matters.
Because Cade also does not drink expensive beers.
That's true. No, you got a budget.
Yeah, he
Hey,
goes.
I feel you. Normally I'm a big PBR guy. I have PBRs on every episode, and I don't know what it is. So I just recorded with Pastel Faces the other day.
Oh,
nice.
also
Thanks,
too.
homies.
Yeah.
And for their episode, I also didn't grab any PBRs because I was too lazy to put any in the fridge, and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
So I have this nice session ale it's called the Levy, but it's my friends in Eugene Levy from Iowa. They partnered up with their local brewery to come up with a
Wait,
line
did you
of.
say the beer's name is Eugene Levy, named after the actor Eugene Levy?
So the band is named Eugene Levy after the
That
actor
rules.
Eugene Levy.
That goes hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
We might have to hit them up for booking for
for
our
this
Iowa
summer.
date.
Yeah. Are they based out of Salt Lake?
No, out of Iowa.
Oh, you said Iowa. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay.
Cade's really bad at geography. He thought that the initials for Utah was UH and not UT.
Yeah.
So after he had posted the tour poster, I'm like, Cade, you did that wrong. You fucked up, dude.
That's okay. So the lead singer from Eugene Levy was the lead singer for the band that I used to like tour manage. We went to high school together, so I would just go on the road with them. Nice. And we'd pull up to a new town. He's like, dude, where are we? And I'm like, one, you have the flyer in your phone, but two, you were in the van the entire time. So like we would have to tell him before he got on stage where we were every night. That way he didn't just like butcher like, hey, what's up, like Fresno, like, and say like the wrong city. But yeah,
I always thought that was a myth.
I've like heard of like bands putting like the names of cities in their in-ear monitors as like a little prompt for the vocalist, just like, hey, by the way, you are in Sacramento today, so you don't fuck up and say like Salt Lake.
Yeah, man. But now we're kind of getting into the later half of these episodes, which are always my favorite part of the episodes. This is the fun storytelling part. I mean, basically, this podcast wouldn't exist if me and my friends finally did get tired of us telling our own stories to each other when we were already in the van when they happened. So this is where I listen to everyone else's stories.
Sounds like us.
Yeah.
Sounds like every band ever.
Like I said, they can be from tours, time recording, music videos, or any other music related stories. They can be any, as I normally also say, they can be horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between.
Nice.
That's a nice little tagline you got there.
Right. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah.
That goes hard.
So I don't know who wants to start, who's got one cooking.
You got one in mind?
Hold on. Horrendous to tremendous. Well, I would say our first show was Parker was really well. It went pretty good. We played at Cafe Racer. You were really nervous.
Oh yeah, with me, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like you were pretty nervous that day, but
I was so nervous.
Yeah.
I was shitting my pants.
and you did great, man. Yeah.
Thank you.
The mix was great. The sound guy was not stellar. I'll say that. So I had borrowed, I think I either brought my cab or I was borrowing a cab. But so you know how, with 2 12 cabinets, there's 2 speakers, right?
Yep.
2 speakers. Sound person put the mic exactly in the middle of the cabinet. So it's kind of, I don't know what that technique is called, but
I think it's wrong.
I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong too, which I think is, I don't. This was my first time and last time seeing that, and I felt that that was pretty odd. But the first show with Parker went great. I'd say that was a tremendous show.
Yeah. Are you gonna tell him about the horrendous part of that show?
What was the horrendous part other than
the opening band?
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah.
I thought that's where you were.
So I'm not. I won't say names. I'm not going to say anything. But yeah. But this band, yeah, they packed the place, right? They brought in everybody, right?
It's like one of their first shows. Too.
Yeah, which is always a good sign when a band does that, right?
They had a bunch of their friends and family show up.
Like,
and that's awesome. That also means that everyone got paid out pretty nicely.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, it's gonna be a cracking gig, whatever, right? And so they play their 30 minutes, right? They play their set time, and we're like, all right. Everyone's like, all right, they're gonna get off stage. Next band's gonna go up. And they go, "What's the one more song?" And we're like, what's going on? And sure enough, they launch into Mr. Brightside. Nothing
as an encore.
as an encore, nothing against it. But I don't know. Ever since that moment, I've kind of had a bad taste about Mr. Brightside in my mouth.
I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, they went over time, and then when they left, a majority of the audience left. So, which
it happens.
It
but
happens.
Also, ooh, that was a rough one.
Yeah,
Like there's certain show etiquette that you got to do, and like
precisely.
I mean, that's not cool.
Bands do not do encores.
Yeah, opening bands don't do encores, and if you're gonna play a show, stay for the show.
Right.
Yeah.
That was like always my biggest pet peeve is like just people that would just immediately dip after their set. It's like, bro, like, because like I used to book some shows, and if a band like left right away, I'm like, all right, it's gonna be a few weeks before I return any of their emails as to if they're gonna be on another show, because like they're not supporting the actual scene. You're just like here to play, and then you're leaving. Like I get it if like you absolutely like live far away and like you drove all the way there, you played. If you stay for a little while and then kind of leave, like that's different than just like bouncing around.
You gotta stay for at least one more band.
Yeah,
right.
I always appreciate when they tell me ahead of time and be like, "Yo, we live pretty far away. We're not going to stick around. Like we may leave after we play. Just a heads up." I'm like, "Okay, I appreciate the warning, right?"
Yeah.
So
they're letting me know.
They had the courtesy to tell me.
Yeah.
Right.
But also, like, I can only imagine like booking shows in the Midwest. You have a lot of bands like coming from all different parts of that country, right?
Yeah. So like, where I lived was like right outside of a college town, but like there wasn't a lot of bands, especially like in our genre, like pop punk or emo, that were in that area. So you would have like maybe one band from the area, and then everyone else who's considered local would also be driving like an hour and a half to 2.5 hours just to go play the show.
Yeah.
Which really sucked, just because we were all so spread out in different cities.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
it's not like
I mean,
so close.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like if I may, like as far as like West Coast Washington shows go, like there's like a pretty it's like a solid window of like Everett, Seattle, and Tacoma bands will typically play together, and they're willing to take the time to travel to each other because from Everett to Tacoma, depending on traffic, it's like an hour to 2 hour window. So like we're able to make it work. But then you get down to like Olympia, and then like it goes like Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia.
And Olympia bands tend to not play a lot of shows north as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And vice versa with like Everett or like a lot of North Seattle bands going down south to Olympia.
Yeah.
So like you kind of have this.
It's a weird little isolation of just like Olympia is the capital of Washington, in case you didn't know that, for you and the listeners. So you have Olympia down at the bottom of the sound, and it just like isolates itself from everything else, which is so interesting. I think because people just don't want to pass Tacoma.
Yeah, if I had to,
it's like if I have to go below Tacoma, I'm not going. I don't even want to go to Tacoma in the first place.
Yeah, passing Tacoma is like kind of passing like a wrong side of train tracks in town.
Leave Tacoma out of this. How dare you talk about Tacoma like that?
I know. Hey, I'll stay out of that one.
That is exactly how people feel about it. I got a soft spot in my heart for Tacoma.
I do too, man. Yeah, Tacoma's great. Let's see. And then you got to think about Bellingham and Vancouver, and that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's, like I said, Bellingham's about an hour north of Everett. And so there is a little bit of crossway of like bands going up to Bellingham, but like I don't see a lot of bands going to Vancouver that often because of border stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Border stuff can be annoying.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough. It is a different country.
Yeah.
It's not just like US light or anything like that.
Right. It's got its whole complete system. But yeah. Let's see, what else can we talk about that kind of gets on our nerves?
Which tour story should I tell? Albuquerque or San Diego?
Tell Albuquerque.
Albuquerque?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So Albuquerque was wild. There was like, my roommate's calling me. Albuquerque was wild. It was such whiplash for the entire night. We like got into town. It was like an hour and a half before doors.
Yeah.
And the promoter's like, hey, the venue that you booked, a water pipe burst, so we can't do it there. However, the venue down the street has another show going on, but we're able to just combine those two shows. So we'll just do that. It'll be great. It was like a lot of hip hop artists, plus our little 3-band bill. And it was like he sent us the set times and all of that. Looked great on paper. The hip hop artists did not do a good job with changeovers.
Yeah.
They straight up, they took so long for their changeovers. We were playing like an hour and a half late, and it was just, everyone was frustrated, everyone's tired, everyone's pissed off. And then we go up there, we're upset, and so we ended up playing a really good set. Everyone loved it. And then it was an incredible set. So there's that whiplash right there as well.
It was really weird because, sorry not to interrupt you.
You're good.
Because like it ended up being like a 9-act bill. And they didn't do anything to compensate for the start time. They're like, it's still going to start at the same time. And so it started at like 7. And so we ended up going on at like,
it was like
11 o'clock.
11:30.
Yeah, it was really late. And it was a weekday too. And so we're like, well, this gig's bad.
Yeah.
But like Parker said, we're all pretty upset. So we ended up playing, like, doing a great job that night. And for some reason, I don't understand why, but like the venue, just like everyone who was there just like came right inside for us.
Yeah, I was like, where did these people come
Yeah,
from?
for real. Like these people just kind of came out of nowhere. We're like, what's going on? And the rest of the night was awesome.
It was great.
Yeah, but
after
the show,
then we're loading out after the show. It's looking great numbers wise. We're like, this is really good for the fact that we just had a really weird show go on. We're like loading out, and our old drummer Cade, he was like helping me load out. I was like loading everything into the car because I had a system. After 2 days, I was like, I have a system, don't fuck with it.
Parker had an epic going on.
I really did. I knew where everything went every single time.
I mean, I will say it's good to have at least one person that knows what the fuck they're doing when they're loading.
Yeah,
like, I was the guy for the trailer. I was like, you put it at the end of the trailer, I put it in the trailer.
Exactly. Because otherwise it's gonna be a mess, and no one's gonna be happy because I'm gonna be pissed and I'm gonna kill all of you. So he's like helping load out. He's bringing stuff out, and so he like sets down like one of his snare case, and then he sets down my bass case right next to the car.
The bass is in the case.
The bass is in the case, right? I had just bought a hard case for this tour. Something bumps the case. It falls over. This car that had watched us like put our shit there. This car just like starts moving forward, and like they get like their whole tire on my bass case, and I'm like shitting myself, screaming at them, hey, could you back off, because you are going to break my instrument. I'm gonna break you. They finally figured it out that, oh yeah, I'm supposed to back up right now, and so they didn't even stop to check that like everything was okay. They just drove away a different way. I'm like, you idiot. I'm like panicking, pulling it out. The case is like destroyed. It's still destroyed. It's a mess. One of the 3 latches does not work anymore. And like it's splintered and cracking. But I open it, and somehow my bass was perfectly fine. Yeah. Everything was okay on the inside.
And that is a testament to Fender quality. Yeah. You put a car on that case, your bass is going nowhere. Fender. For the people.
I literally almost shit myself. So that was some major whiplash for that entire night. But it still works. It does not stand up the way it's supposed to anymore. Yeah. But I still have a functioning bass, which is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Albuquerque.
Oh man.
Yeah. What happened in San Diego?
Oh, I just almost killed you guys.
When? Oh, yeah, that's right.
They just spent the entire tour like slowly getting on my nerves, just like with really stupid Batman and Joker impressions.
You know how like you go on tour, you have your tour jokes, right?
Yeah.
So Kate and I were really getting a big kick out of Minions.
Mostly because I was always napping in the back seat. Like I can fall asleep in a car like no one's business. So
Yeah.
like they're just being idiots the whole time and they're having a good time. I'm not gonna dog on them for that.
Yeah, Parker missed a lot of the lore that was going on
I
in the front
really
seat.
did.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear it though.
Yeah. And so we're in this restaurant talking about like, doing Joker impressions, talking about Minion Joker collaborations, and like
all just over my head. I was not listening. I was just focused on eating.
yeah.
And then like I'm driving, trying to find a spot for us to park because the parking at that venue was garbage. I'm like, and they're just like, they will not stop. They will not stop. And I'm like about to lose my fucking
I think we started incorporating like goofy impressions in there too.
Yeah. And then
we were like
I snapped.
And we were talking in the impressions about you parking.
Yeah. And I'm like, I lost it. I was like, I have to leave this band now.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. I'm gonna kill them.
Yeah.
I didn't kill them. Like I said earlier, no one was seriously injured for the entire tour, that's a successful tour to me.
Yeah.
So besides the impressions, did you guys do any other fun games or activities while on your drives?
The driving was pretty straightforward. We mainly just like listened to podcasts and music and stuff. I got a big kick out of like drawing faces on my belly, like with a Sharpie. I started doing that. That was pretty fun.
He like uses his belly to like order his Taco
Yeah,
Bell
so-
from me
yeah,
as I'm going.
So what you
inside.
do is like you want to draw the face, but you want to fold the tummy over so like you can develop a mouth with it.
Yep.
Then you draw, your eyes and your nose and eyebrows if you'd like. And
the eyebrows really made it.
yeah, the eyebrows is
He's
key
like, I
fact.
look like a crunch wrap.
Yeah.
With guacamole.
Yeah. That's something we got up to. We stopped in Dinosaur, Colorado, which is pretty dope.
No, it's not. It's so not dope. It's nothing.
Yeah, it was nothing but just like
It's
the
nothing.
tiniest town.
It's all of the streets though are named after dinosaurs.
Yeah, and
which
there
I
are
thought was
kind of cool.
there are some sculptures.
There are some really bad sculptures.
Yeah.
They're ugly as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, highly recommend.
We used to play I think I mentioned it on one other episode, but we used to play Hey Cow when we were on our drives.
Oh, I heard about Hey Cow.
That's a good one. That's a classic.
Can't go wrong with Hey Cow.
Yeah, our buddies in Troubled Minds told us about that one, which, yeah, they're great guys.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do a whole lot else. Driving, anyone who hasn't been on tour, I don't think you can properly explain to them how boring it is to drive through America.
Yeah. Because a lot of it's just
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're from the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know firsthand.
Yeah.
No, but like
very well.
like one of the tours we did, when we booked it, we couldn't find like dates in between, so we literally played Wyoming one day and then like Kansas like the next. So you're driving through Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas, which there's fucking nothing there.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the most brutal drives I've ever done, just because you just want to sleep the entire time.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories of like basically almost every band has like a bad story of driving through Wyoming in the middle of the night and like
Oh yeah, that's just sketchy.
no one's having a good time. It's everyone just wants to sleep through Wyoming, but someone has to be awake to drive. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so before Parker was in the band, we played this house show in Bend, Oregon, and the best way I can describe it is it looked like and again, I don't want to say anything that may upset the owners of this house or anything. I don't know if they still live there, but it looked like a house that was like still under construction, because like it was in like this dirt lot like right outside of town, and it was the only thing there. And so we're like, well, that can't be it, because there was like a hole that you could like see inside the house, like to the bathroom. And so like this can't be it at all. And so we drive up this road and there's still nothing. And so I call the guy and we're like, hey, we think there's this house here that might be it. Is that the place? And he was like, yeah, that's the place. Just pull up around front. So we're like, oh, great. And we got there and like everyone's looking really sketchy. Like they're all kind of older folks. They're all dressed pretty ragged. And I admit we had our judgment hats on this day, and we shouldn't have done that. That was irresponsible on our part. But like we pulled up and we're like, okay, how are we gonna get out of here? what's the exit strategy?
It's a good thing you had Danny with you.
Yeah. Like, you know what to do in that instance.
It's always a good thing to have Danny with you.
Yeah, you want a guy like Danny on your side. But you know what? The show was awesome. The show was great. Everyone was really down with us. We got paid pretty well, but they were like, "You can crash here if you want." We were like, "No, thanks." And we got out of there.
No thanks. I'd rather sleep at a rest stop. Thank you very much.
Oh, and our friend John Promotions went in there. And I was like, "Dude, how was the bathroom?" And he's like, "You can see everything out of that bathroom."
Jeez.
I'm good.
Yeah. The one Kansas show we played on, where like we were heading on that drive, the GPS told us to take like a random exit off this interstate.
Yeah.
And we get off, and there's not like, normally you take an exit and there's like a fucking rest stop or like gas station or something, and there was nothing there, and it was 4 miles of gravel road, and we're like, this cannot be it.
Yeah.
Otherwise we are for sure gonna die. Like, this is just a ploy that like someone booked us to just kill us, is what our thinking like was. It turned out to be like one of the dopest shows on that tour. Like, they pulled up like 2 like flatbed trailers, and we played on top of those, and like it was a great fucking time.
Nice.
It was like a house show for these people, but like we were like, we're for sure gonna die on the way to this.
Absolutely.
We have
I can't believe
we have a tale
fully forgot
that we can tell you about. So we stop in Weed, California, right? We're in Weed. We're really stoked. And we get our Weed, California t-shirts. We get gas, and we hit the road. And we were in the what mountain range?
So we
Shasta.
were like, we were just like, hey, look, there's this viewpoint that's really close to like look at Mount Shasta. Isn't that great? And so like we go to the little viewpoint. We're just like, oh, this is awesome. And now we're gonna keep going up to stay the night with our friends in Eugene. Medford.
Yeah. Andrew will kick us ass.
Yeah.
We'll kick our ass.
Oh my god. I can't believe I would ever confuse Eugene and Medford. But anyway, we're gonna go up to Medford, and we're just like, okay, well, let's go this way. And just so everyone knows, we borrowed my mom's car for this tour. She's got a great little Ford Escape. She paid good money for it.
Yes.
It's a great car, especially for a 3-piece doing a little tour. Like, it worked out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry, Mom, but we scratched up your car.
Yeah.
GPS was like, hey, go through here and here, like on this like dirt road to get back to the interstate. It did not work.
Yeah. We were like going south, and we had to like go, like, it was either go back through Weed and hit the interstate north, or just like cut through like this like dirt road to get back on the interstate. We're like, well, let's just take this dirt road. And so we pull up, and it's just like the thinnest dirt road you've ever seen. It's like there's like a chain link fence opening. And so we're driving through it, and the whole time we're noticing that the path is getting a little bit more aggressive, with just like things like trees and stuff like merging in, and rocks on the side, right? Just like kind of closing in on the path, right? And we're like, that's a little weird. And Parker's mom's SUV had like this little sensor if there was like a car nearby, and it would like go beep, beep.
Yeah,
beep.
it like straight up was just an uninterrupted beep, because it's like, hey, you are hitting things. Can you like stop?
Yeah. So while we're trying to like slowly get through this path, we're just like getting beeped like for 30 minutes straight, and it is really getting on our
absolute
nerves.
sensory overload.
And so finally, we're still on this path, and we're not quite there, but we can see the interstate, right? And so like, okay, we're almost there. And so I don't know what happened. I don't know if we took a wrong turn or something. We start going up this mountain, and it starts closing in even more. And there's no sign of us like eventually going down. And so we get like a quarter of the way up, and it's a switchback.
Yeah.
And it's still going up, and we can't really turn around. And so we're kind of stuck on this mountain for like a half.
There's a clip on our TikTok, because we were doing little tour recaps. There's a clip on our TikTok of Cade Sampson doing pulling an Austin Powers.
Yeah, the Austin Powers thing from
just
where he's like in the hallway, and he's just like stuck back and forth.
That's what we had to do to get off that switch.
It it was a journey.
terrifying because like
Scratches all
if
over
he
the
had
side of
gone
my
like
car.
a few inches further, he
Jeez.
would have like went backwards
Yeah.
off the fucking thing.
Like
Oh
we
my
both
God.
got out and we're just like, okay, let's like make sure that everything is okay. Like,
Yeah.
direct him. We were safe. No
Yeah.
one was seriously injured. The car was.
Yeah, the car was. He got scratched.
It was-
scratched really badly.
It wasn't too bad of scratches, but it definitely should not have been there.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah,
shout out my mom.
Yeah, that took like 2 hours out of our day. It was kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, those are always the worst when like the GPS doesn't know the exact, like it thinks it knows the right way to go. There was a time that we were going from like North Carolina to play in like Long Island, New York, and we didn't realize the GPS had set it to no tolls. So we, it obviously avoided all of New Jersey. So we're in Pennsylvania, and I was like, this doesn't seem right at all. And we realized it there, and so yeah, we basically just did like this giant loop around New Jersey just to get there.
Yeah.
We still beat the other band that we were on tour with, who stayed in like DC, or they stayed like closer
Oh my
to
gosh.
Oh
but
my
like
God.
I don't know how I did it, but yeah, that was just way more driving than we needed to do that day.
That stinks.
Every day on tour is too much driving.
Yeah, like the drive from like Boise to Salt Lake, I think was like the longest drive we had
No,
to
it
do.
was not.
What was it?
I think it was Denver to Albuquerque sucks.
Yeah, that one was a bummer.
But we really did not like what was it? Phoenix to San Diego.
That was bad.
Mm.
That was scary.
Yeah, that was not good.
There was like this little part of the drive where it had the big sign and it's like, hey, turn off your air conditioning because you will overheat for like the next 10 miles. And we're just like, I don't think so.
Because in Phoenix, it's like 115 in the summer. Like it's
Right.
We're just like, it'll be fine. Immediately, I'm like, I'm turning off the AC now. It was horrible. And like we get out of that little pass, there's immediately a gas station that's like $7-8 a gallon. We're just like, we are not getting gas here. We have to go. And like it was also just like extremely close to the border. There was this moment where like this cop just was following us on this dirt road on the way back to the highway. He was following us for way too long, and we were just like, everything is fine. We are not going to get in trouble. Cade, make sure you're going the speed limit. Exactly.
Yeah.
It was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I will say, despite all of my despite throughout my touring career, and I don't know about yours, but like I've never had any run-ins with local authority at all.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that's been nice.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah, I've had friends that have run into like local police and stuff on their tours, but yeah, we also never had any issues with that. Like one of my friends I know, wherever they stayed, like he was sleeping on like the top bunk they built in their van. So like during the daylight, you could clearly see him just like in his boxers, just like sleeping in the van, and the cops just like came and like made sure he was like okay. Actually, no, I take that back. I think cops did come to our van one day when might have been in California, and all of us had gone inside like this mall to just like, we had time to kill. And one of the guys was like, oh, I'm just gonna like hang out at the van. But he like had the side door open and he was like laying down with his legs sticking out. So like the cop came up to like, was just like, what the fuck's going, like, are you okay?
Yeah.
But that was like the extent of anything that we had to deal with.
We're
definitely lucky. I know that like on your previous tours with Danny, he was like, hey, I can't drive during this part.
Yeah. He'd be like, I need you to drive through the border of Oregon to California. And I was like, okay, sure. If I may go back to that point real quick, I had a stats teacher in high school who I caught doing that once at school, like asleep in his minivan with like his legs out, like in the school parking lot.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, and I was like, and he was like asleep. And I came back because I think he noticed that I had like a student had seen him. And I'm walking back to my car, and he goes, "Hey, Kate, are you ready for the stats test this Friday?" I was like, "Yeah, Mr. Strom, I think I'm ready." He's like, "You're gonna do so good," and I was like, "Thanks, man."
Yeah, kind of bouncing off of like that whole teacher sleeping in his car. Like I think I saw a TikTok of a teacher that like built a sleeping like little nook underneath his desk on like TikTok. Like he like folds it down and there's like a pillow and like blanket. It looked like some uh like Seinfeld air like esque stuff that George would do.
Yeah, I think there was an episode about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very elaborate and amazing. And
Damn, teachers really do sleep at school.
Dude, poor
Right.
guy. That sucks. Yeah.
But as we kind of wind down here, like I've said, these 3 songs are killer. I mean, Yukon Sucker Punch is such a fucking banger, and I'm stoked to see what the Dusty Cubby camp does next. Like it sounds like we got some stuff coming out later this year, possible tours coming later. So everyone, for sure, keep their eyes peeled. But if anyone's looking for merch, music, or just Dusty Cubby in general, where can they find it?
We got a link tree, or as we have to call it, a website where you can find all of our stuff.
Our website redirects to a link tree.
Yeah. Yeah. If you type in just like dustycubby.com or linktree/dustycubby, whatever it is, you can find our social media pages, our music, our merchandise. You can also see the last 3 music videos we've done. So check that out. We got some new shirts on the merch page. We got some Clementine tie-dye shirts that are pretty epic.
We got some new shirts coming.
Yeah, I got some new shirts coming for
Yeah.
Yukon Suckerpunch that we're pretty stoked on.
You're gonna love it.
You guys are gonna like it. Just the more stuff you buy, the more money you can help us get to your town. So and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Okay. Well, depending on where you found this episode, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or the YouTube, hit the hyperlinks down below. Go follow Dusty Cubby on all the social media platforms and go pick up some merch. That way they can make it to your town and you can see all of these songs played into your own faces. Stay up to date on whatever Dusty Cubby has going on. And one last big thank you to Kate and Parker for taking the time out of your Saturday to sit down with me, have some seltzer, have some coffee, have some beers, and just have an all around like good conversation, I feel like.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us. It's been a blast.
Thank you so much.
Let us know if you've ever liked us to come back on.
Fuck yeah. Let me know if you ever make it to the Midwest, and we'll maybe do one of these in person for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I may ask a question off the air real quick. Who books in Des Moines?
I see you're wearing a bouquet shirt.
Yeah.
Some homies. We can talk after.
Great.
Once we end, and then I'll shoot you some people.
Let him finish.
Yeah,
the
let us
episode.
finish. Sorry, I just had to ask before I forgot.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I've been staring at
yeah.
his shirt the entire time. That's a band from Iowa.
Yeah, we were both thinking about it.
But I mean, other than that, everyone go listen to Dusty Cubby, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.